Hi everyone, Andrew Gordon here. My essential question this week is how do I learn? And it was a kind of an interesting question. I was excited to do it, but I figured it was I needed to learn how to learn. But if I don't know how to learn, how can I learn what I need to learn in order to how to and just kind of over and over. But kind of boil it down to some questions to try and help me out. My first question that I thought of is what sources are the best from which to learn things? Where can I go to find the best things to learn? What are the most reliable sources, like it says? I mentioned this last week, but it's a really great scripture that I love. It's in Doctrine and Covenants 88, verses 118, that says, "Seek ye out of the best books words of wisdom." Seek ye study all seek ye wisdom by study and also by faith. But sometimes books, those best books, if we need to learn something, that textbooks can be the best way. But there's another. So those books are a good place to find knowledge. Another quote by Albert Einstein says that the only source of knowledge is experience. Sometimes the only way that we learn is just by doing and throwing ourselves in the proverbial deep end and hoping that we swim. But as someone commented on the sort of the graffiti wall, I guess, they said that one of the best places to learn is from your coworkers, your colleagues. We'll be going into education, so we will be brand new teachers at these schools, and there will be those teachers that have been there for decades that are teaching the children of their former students. They will have mountains of wisdom they can give to us. Those senior colleagues will be a great place. The mentors that we've had growing up, professors here at school, at other universities, as we continue, will be great places. My second question that I came up with is, what is my preferred learning method? How do I learn best? There's many different learning styles. There's people that learn best visually by looking at something. There's those that do best verbally, kinesthetically, that are more hands-on people. Others learn orally, auditorially. They're logical. They learn best in groups, social, or they learn best by themselves in a more solitary environment. And so, this one was really actually tricky to come up with, because I've thought about all the different ways that I've learned things in classes in this university, in high school, in my college back in California. And I have multiple methods of learning, and I think all of us do. But I kind of realized that I'm very I learn things a lot visually, just by looking at something and hearing it orally. I learn well. Someone's explaining something to me, I can hear it and I understand it. But I think in the end, the preferred method is kinesthetically. I need someone to explain things to me, like tell me how to do it so I can hear it, maybe watch you do it, and then give me the tools and let me do it. And I find that that's the best way that I've learned. And I've seen that not only in classes, but in music groups that I've directed. I learned things about how to teach and how to be a director, but some of the best experience I've had is actually standing in front of a music group and conducting them and directing them and telling them what to do and teaching them. So that question, this learning method that I have, gave way into my next question, which is, how can I make sure the way I prefer to learn is not the only way that I teach? That can be tough. I learn kinesthetically, or I learn, in my case as a music education major, I learn music theory a certain way, but that way may not work for other students that I teach. And so you need to learn every single approach there is to a certain aspect of what we teach, and be able to teach it that way. Obviously we as humans, we have our preference to teach the ways that we know that we learn the best. But if that doesn't work, we need to be able to change our teaching styles, and that means using these other methods, these visual and mathematical, more logical ways, to be able to teach students. And another comment on the graffiti wall that I thought was very helpful was that a girl in high school, the teacher would explain a principle and then have one of the students explain it again in their own words, and then another student explain it in their own words, and another student. Everyone kind of got to have some input in how they understood it the best, and sometimes those methods would help other students that didn't get it better than the teacher's way of explaining. And so I thought that was really cool. But that's some of the stuff I learned this week. Just looking and trying to figure out how I learn best. And so, yeah, it was really great. I had these guys to support me, with their thumbs up. But I hope you guys that watched it, you learned something from it, and that we can keep going, become educators together. It's going to be awesome. All right. Have a good week, everyone.